Let me ask you something. What is the most expensive thing you own? It's not your house or your car or that gadget you just bought. The most expensive thing you own is the wall you've built around your heart. Brick by invisible brick, you've spent your entire life building it. Every time you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. Every time you scrolled through your phone to avoid a difficult thought. Every time you chose distraction over depth. Each one was a brick. We live in an age of ghosts. We are haunted not by what we feel, but by what we refuse to. There's a constant, low hum of anxiety beneath the surface of our lives, a restlessness that keeps us moving, achieving, consuming. We chase goals, binge shows, perfect our morning routines, anything to avoid the silence, anything to avoid the cold draft that slips through the cracks in our wall. We've become masters of the art of not feeling. We have an infinite buffet of comforts, a digital pacifier for every potential pang of sadness or boredom. We curate our lives for good vibes only, treating any negative emotion as an unwelcome intruder, a glitch in the system. And here is the great, terrifying paradox of our time. We have engineered a world to be safer and more comfortable than ever before in human history. We have eliminated so much of the physical pain our ancestors endured, yet we have never been more fragile. We have never been more terrified of the aches that live inside us. We traded the saber-toothed tiger for a bad text message. We swapped the risk of starvation for the fear of being unfollowed. The threats have become internal, psychological, and we are utterly unprepared because we were taught that the goal of life was to feel good. No one ever taught us how to hurt.
For almost all of human history, pain was not a surprise, it was a roommate. It lived in the same house. The chill of winter, the gnawing of hunger, the agony of a toothache, the raw grief of losing a child to a fever. These weren't emergencies to be solved. They were the texture of life itself. Consider the Stoics. Philosophers like Seneca didn't just passively accept this reality, they leaned into it. He would deliberately practice poverty, sleeping on the hard floor and eating stale bread for days at a time. Not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he was performing a kind of emotional surgery on himself. He called it practicing misfortune. He was inoculating himself against the terrors of fate. By choosing to touch pain voluntarily, he stripped the fear from the pain that was inevitable. He understood a secret we have forgotten. Voluntary hardship builds a soul that involuntary hardship cannot break. This relationship with pain was not just for philosophers, it was for everyone. A farmer's hands cracked and bled with the seasons. A mother knew the searing pain of childbirth without anesthetic. A sailor knew the bite of the freezing spray. Pain was a teacher. It taught you your limits. It taught you what you were capable of surviving. It taught you what it meant to be grateful for a moment of warmth, a full belly, a healthy child. Pain gave life its shape, its contrast, its meaning. Then, something shifted. In the last few hundred years, and especially in the last 80, humanity was given a new promise, a seductive, revolutionary promise, the possibility of a life without pain. It started with medicine, anesthesia, antibiotics, painkillers, miracles that conquered so much physical suffering. But the idea bled out into the culture. If we could numb the body, why not the soul? The 20th century became a grand project in engineering comfort. Air conditioning, fast food, endless entertainment, a pill for every mood. And here is the uncomfortable truth. This project, born of good intentions, had a hidden cost. We began to see pain not as a natural part of the human experience, but as a personal failure, a sign that something was wrong with you. If you feel sad, you're not living right. If you feel anxious, you're broken. If you feel grief, you need to get over it faster. Pain became taboo, an obscenity. And in our frantic effort to build a world without it, we accidentally built a cage. We forgot that the same nerves that feel pain are the ones that feel joy. And when you set out to numb one, you inevitably numb the other.
There's a term in modern psychology for this war we wage against our own feelings: experiential avoidance. It is the single greatest predictor of anxiety disorders, depression, and addiction. And it works on a very simple, brutal principle. Imagine you're at a swimming pool, and I hand you a large, inflatable beach ball. Your only job, I tell you, is to hold this ball underwater. At first, it seems easy. You just push it down. But the ball wants to rise. It has buoyancy. So you have to keep applying pressure. It takes energy. You can't really pay attention to anything else because you're focused on this one task, keeping the ball down. Now imagine that beach ball is a feeling you don't want to feel. Sadness, shame, fear, insecurity. Your entire life becomes an exhausting effort to hold it down. You use work to hold it down. You use alcohol. You use endless scrolling on social media. You use being a perfectionist. You use being a people pleaser. All of your frantic energy, all that restlessness we spoke of, is the constant, draining pressure required to keep the ball from surfacing. And what happens the moment you get tired? The moment you let up, even for a second? The ball doesn't just surface, it erupts. It shoots out of the water with a force far greater than it would have had if you just let it float there in the first place. This is the pain paradox. Your attempt to avoid pain is what transforms it into suffering. A simple pang of sadness, when held underwater, becomes a monstrous depression. A flicker of worry, when suppressed, erupts as a full-blown panic attack. The very act of running from the monster is what gives it its power. Your anxiety isn't a sign that you're broken. It's the sound of the beach ball straining against your grip. Your addictions are not a moral failing. They are the desperate, exhausted attempt to find a heavier weight to hold the feeling down. We are a generation of people spending all of our energy trying to solve a problem that was never a problem to begin with. We were just never taught to let the ball float.
So what is the alternative? If running is the trap, what does it mean to stand still? It begins with a radical, almost heretical idea in our modern world. What if your pain is not an enemy? What if it is a compass? What if every pain you feel is simply a signal, a pure, unfiltered piece of information, a compass needle pointing directly toward what you value most in the world? Think about it. The searing pain of grief only exists because of the profound depth of your love. If you didn't love, it wouldn't hurt. The pain, therefore, is a testament to your capacity for connection. It's the map of your heart. The gnawing pain of loneliness doesn't mean you're broken. It means you were built for belonging. It's a compass needle pointing toward your tribe. The frustrating pain of creative block or professional failure doesn't mean you're a fraud. It means you care deeply about your work. The ache is the evidence of your passion. When you numb the pain, you are not just finding relief. You are shattering your compass. You are throwing away the one map that can guide you back to a life of meaning. Your pain is the most honest part of you. It is the last thing to give up on you. It is the part of you that still remembers what you truly want, even when your conscious mind has forgotten. To run from your pain is to run from the very things that make you human. Your capacity to love, your desire to belong, your passion to create. To avoid pain is to accept a life of shallow, muted experiences. It is to live in the gray, colorless suburbs of your own soul.
In 15th century Japan, a shogun broke his favorite ceramic tea bowl.
He sent it to China to be repaired, but it came back with ugly metal staples, as was the custom. Disappointed, he tasked Japanese craftsmen with finding a more beautiful solution. What they created was an art form called Kintsugi, which means to join with gold. When a piece of pottery breaks, they don't try to hide the cracks. They don't pretend it was never broken. Instead, they meticulously piece it back together using a lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The cracks are not just repaired, they are illuminated. They become the most beautiful part of the object. The bowl is more precious and more beautiful because it was broken. The damage is not a part of its history to be ashamed of. It is the source of its unique beauty. We are taught the opposite. We are taught to hide our cracks, to present a perfect, polished, unbroken version of ourselves to the world. We feel shame for our scars, for our traumas, for our grief. We see them as proof that we are flawed. Kintsugi offers a different philosophy. It teaches us that healing is not about returning to the person you were before you were hurt. That person is gone. Healing is about integrating your broken pieces. It's about holding your own pain with such compassion and care that it transforms into gold. Your scars are not a sign of weakness, they are a sign that you have survived. They are the evidence that you have loved, that you have dared, that you have lived. To embrace your pain is to become a Kintsugi artist for your own soul, to see the lines of gold where the world only sees cracks.
So we return to the wall you have built around your heart. The goal is not to tear it down with a wrecking ball. That would be too much, too soon. The invitation is simply to take out one brick. The next time a wave of sadness or anxiety rises, just for a moment, don't run. Don't reach for your phone. Don't numb it. Just stop, breathe, and allow it to be there. Notice where it lives in your body. Give it a name. Meet it with curiosity instead of fear. You don't have to like it. You just have to let it be. Let it float. This is the bravest thing you will ever do. It is the quietest, most profound rebellion against a world that wants you to stay numb and distracted. The purpose of life was never to build a world where nothing hurts. It was to build a soul strong enough to feel it all, and in the end, to look at the beautiful, golden cracks that run through you, and to call yourself whole. If this message resonated with you, if you felt a flicker of recognition in the silence, know that you are not alone in this journey. We are all learning the art of feeling again. In the comments below, if you feel comfortable, share one small way you plan to take out a brick this week. Your story might be the permission someone else needs to start their own journey. This channel is a space for these conversations, a tribe for those who are tired of running and ready to face themselves. If you're ready to go deeper, subscribe and join us. Because if we've learned to face our pain, our next video will explore what lies on the other side. Joy. Not the cheap, fleeting happiness we're sold, but the deep, resilient joy that can only be found after you've walked through the fire. It's time to feel it all. See you on the other side.